Welcome to the most athletic, active, and weird peripheral using playlist on Bears and Games. Bears in Motion. BIM.
To the beam.
This is going to be a series looking at games that use alternate playstyles, like the Wiimote, the Kinect, voice-activated games. Check left coffee dispenser.
I've checked it earlier. That was enough.
Check coffee dispenser 1.
Which dispenser do you mean?
VR games, where I'm a big boy who doesn't get too scared to play them. It's not going to be all exercise gaming, but there will be some exercise gaming in there for sure. Like this time, with Fist of the North Star Fitness Boxing by Imagineer. It's a rhythm-based exercise game, using a Joy-Con in each hand as you punch, uppercut, dodge, and weave to instructions from some of your favorite Fist of the North Star characters. I played through 10 workouts in 2 weeks, and here is my report back. But first, some background. I do have some experience with Fitness Boxing 2, which I picked up on sale, also by Imagineer but distributed worldwide by Nintendo. From what I can glean, the Fist of the North Star one was not a Nintendo release game, just Imagineer all the way around. Now, I play these kind of games because I enjoy being active, and as I'm getting older, I have to make a concerted effort to do more energetic movements with stuff like these games to keep mobility, endurance, and flexibility, especially as a bigger dude. I set myself the goal to do 10 of these workouts in the space of 2 weeks, and by Jove, I did it. Barely. But I did it, and that's what counts. Okay, that was day 1, and it sucked. I want to die. My legs hurt a lot. More than my upper body. There's a lot of drops. I don't know if you know this, but I'm a big fan of nonsense. Having a Fist of the North Star themed fitness game is, on its face, bonkers. It's one of the most successful manga and anime properties in the world, but just in case you're unfamiliar, here is a quick overview. It started as a black and white manga in the weekly Shonen Jump magazine, written by Bronson, with the artist Tetsuo Hara, who I personally think of as the guy what did the Muscle Bomber / Saturday Night Slam Master character art. Maybe the most homoerotically charged wrestling game ever made. Okay. Inspired by the Mad Max films, and under the nightmare of atomic devastation that the Cold War hung over everyone's head, Bronson created the epic tale of Kenshiro, a survivor of the atomic war wandering the destroyed wastelands. Kenshiro is trained in the art of Hokuto Shinken, a martial art based on killing an opponent via special pressure points around the body, leading them to explode from within. But he's a good guy. He's looking for his missing love, Yuria, who has been abducted by his rival from within Hokuto Shinken, Rao. The manga, anime, and movies cover his journey through defeating Rao's henchmen, saving the lives of the innocent, defending a frankly irritating kid thief named Bat, and Lin, an innocent little girl who must regularly be saved. And that's pretty much the premise. These are almost comically gory, but not gory in a real, anatomical way. People do explode a lot, and you do see skulls burst with fountains of blood and eyeballs going flying. That was what captivated me when one of my brothers rented the anime, sure. There's a definite might makes right kind of leaning to the writing you can feel free to dissect, but it's still an enjoyable if dark and stoic story. And there's plenty of the beefiest boys you ever did see, though many with weirdly disproportionately tiny heads. And then there's Heart. I had unknowingly played 2 Sega games growing up that were in fact reskins of the Fist of the North Star series. Black Belt for the Sega Master System and Last Battle for the Genesis. Black Belt had a much more thorough reimagining of the property, changing out the locations and the player sprite completely. While Last Battle just messed around with the colors a bit, and has what must be the world's fastest moving story scroll ever made. And it does have not Kenshiro bursting out of his shirt in a very Altered Beast manner, which I approve of. But I rented it several times, and even made it past that first Meat Gate boss, which is teaching you to explore all the levels and grind a bit before approaching him. It's not a bad game, but it's not a great one. You know what is pretty great though? That Fist of the North Star Lost Paradise game by the Like a Dragon team. It's basically a secret Like a Dragon game, playing almost identically, though with a little drivey action in there, and it's wonderful. I believe you can even unlock Kiryu. So this was a dark and weird license for a boxing game, but I like weird. How did it turn out? Well, if you played the previous fitness boxing games, you'll basically see a lot in common here, with very similar workouts, warm-ups, and cooldowns. But this time Kenshiro is your trainer, and you can swap to Lumia anytime, and unlock other trainers too, by going through the battle mode. I found Fitness Boxing 2 kind of dry and boring, but adding the spice of interesting environments and new characters was pretty charming. Till picking up the game again for this review, I hadn't messed around with the battle mode at all, sticking to the daily workout. The daily workout offers 3 difficulties, which are mostly based on workout length rather than difficulties of the workouts themselves. There's Light, which gives you a 20-ish minute workout with a 4-minute warm-up, 2 workouts of varying lengths, and a 4-minute cooldown. Medium gives you the same 4-minute warm-up and cooldown, but 3 workout lengths, one of which is usually in the 9 to 11 minute range, which is a lot. Heavy I haven't tried, but you're probably looking at 4 workouts and a total length of around 40 minutes. Even on Light, these workouts are, well, let's just say vigorous. The first few sessions, with just jabs and straights and maybe a few uppercuts, aren't too bad, but as the individual workouts in the session get longer, you'll find yourself really pushing to keep up. If you've done real-life cardio classes, I'd say these are about that level of deep intensity. You feel worked out. Definitely. Even the light workout length will get so intense that I would talk to a doctor if you're out of practice with cardio and haven't done this kind of vigorous exercise in a few years, just to make sure you're good for it. After a couple of medium-length workouts, I had my fists in the air and punching so long that by the end of it, I was faltering, barely able to keep them up. They are a lot. Obviously, keeping at it for a while will improve your stamina. 2 weeks probably isn't enough for that. The battle mode has you fight through standard Fist of the North Star mooks up through a boss for each chapter. The first chapter was broken down into, I think, 6 different parts, with each being a different workout. And the length of this workout varies by difficulty per stage, so you can breeze through these in 3 to 5 minute chunks on light or draw them out into 11-minute marathons on hard. There's a bit of a story setup, but mostly you're being yelled at by random characters who you might remember from other Fist of the North Star games or the manga, anime, or movie. Or you might not. I mean, sure, there's Lin and Bats. But there's also this weird blue-haired guy yelling at me? And to answer your question, no. When you defeat these opponents, they do not explode into gory piles. The screen just flashes. No heads exploding, no bulging eyeballs.
One more push! Good blocking, Ken!
You have to defeat a certain number for the end of the round, but at least in my limited dealings with this mode, the number was not difficult to reach, and you just keep going through the end of the workout, even if you've long ago hit the requisite number of people to punch. The boss fights are always pretty long, no matter what difficulty you choose. They have 2 phases, an attack phase and a block phase. You perform attacks by doing your usual jabs, straights, blocks, and uppercuts, and to dodge you just do them again. I think I would have preferred using only defensive moves to block and offensive to attack, but it's fine. You build up meter by successfully performing combos without mistakes, and the goal is to get enough meter to do your final attack and kill the boss by the end of the workout. And by kill, I mean hit until the screen flashes.
Hokuto 100 Blows Rushing Fist.
Many of the later bosses do appear to unlock as trainers, but you start out with just Kenshiro Mamiya, who seems to be kind of a mean lady in the way my famously heterosexual podcast co-host Matthew Van Sant likes.
Alright.
So how does a daily workout unfold? It starts with a 4-minute warm-up section, which says sometimes that it will focus more on the lower body, when a planned workout will have more low body parts, but I haven't been able to see a difference between one workout and another. I wonder if it's stretching lengths? The warm-up starts with back, shoulders, and arm stretches before moving to leg stretching. It does want you to stand on one foot and fold your leg behind you, which, well, I can't do. But I can use a chair or sofa to help support or get extra flex in. You do these with no Joy-Cons in your hand. Then you get one of 2, 3, or 4 workouts. Before each, it gives you a breakdown of all the moves used, giving you the option of practicing a new movement first before sitting. I do always recommend doing these as they not only explain the move, but give you a chance to try it and see what part of the movement is picked up by the Joy-Con. This will become increasingly important, as more dodge and movement-based scoring comes in. You'll begin with the Joy-Con in each hand, and Kenshiro or another trainer will get you to move back and forward to the beat. You should be constantly moving back and forward throughout the workout to the beat, though tool tips during loading time remind you it's not the end of the world if you mess this up. The workouts are combo based and start out with one command or another, and you get to practice a short 1 or 2 hit combination, and it slowly adds more until you do a full combo. You'll do the full combo 8 times before reversing to southpaw mode, with your left hand doing the straights. It's the same sequence with hands reversed until the end of the workout for 5 to 6 minute routines. For longer routines, you'll get a more complex combo to work on that will flip again between right and left-handed versions. Things start with just jabs and straights, with routines quickly adding hooks and uppercuts, and then eventually dodges and blocks as well for lower focused body blows. It ranks you for your performance on the routine, and then moves on to the next one. After 2 to 4 routines, you wrap up with a cooldown, which is identical to the warm-up. Finally, it gives you an overall score for your session and a fitness age. Even on my worst days, I was almost always my high 20s or early 30s, about 15 years younger than I really am.
Get into your basic stance. Step back with your right foot and angle to the right.
What I enjoy about Fist of the North Star boxing. It's one hell of a workout. You'll feel it in your arms and core and obliques and rhomboids along the side of your body. If you want to get some quick boosts to arm, shoulder, and back definition, this game really helps. I would say of all the video game workouts I've tried, this is the toughest and the one that produced the most results. On medium, I generally find the workouts pretty perfectly timed. Ideally, I want to be physically active for about 20 minutes, not including warm-up and cooldown. But 20 minutes of a workout this intense can be a lot, so I did find myself desperately opting for the light workout quite a bit. I do like the idea of a battle mode, and at least they did try something new with the format. I honestly wish it had been mixed into the daily workout as a bit of a break, especially for medium and long routines. Also, unlocking trainers throughout the battle mode is a great idea, incentivizing you to keep pushing through it. Unfortunately, battle mode is also kind of a mess. Random characters yell at you with what seems to be random snippets of dialogue, not always related to what's going on. Again, I know who Lin and Bats are, but it seems strange to have their portrait randomly pop up so they can yell at me. In general, Fist of the North Star Fitness Boxing seems like a bit of a waste of the license. I get not wanting to scare off the fitness market with a gory retelling of Kenshiro's journey, but this really is just a reskin of Fitness Boxing 2 with an added battle mode. Compared with the extensive story in something like Ring Fit, there was nowhere near as much of an effort applied to build a unique experience that merges adventure or RPG gaming with exercise. Would I have enjoyed having the option to bloodily explode enemies in battle mode? Definitely. But I can see why that's not realistic. I think there was 1 or 2 hyper-gory Kinect games, if I really want to explore down that particular violent exercise rabbit hole. But my biggest problem with the game is a problem that can befall many a physical action-based game, when it doesn't properly read what you're doing. Especially with this game, where doing movements results in good feedback, having them not register just completely throws you off, and you start spending more time concentrating on doing the physical movement that will get the Joy-Con to read your action, rather than doing the action properly. This is particularly rough for dodges, ducks, and blocking. I think realizing this, there's toggles to auto-succeed in doing them in the options menu, or to omit certain exercises altogether, but in general it doesn't feel as successful as an exercise routine once you start unlocking more of the total body movement-based exercises, instead of just punching. To some degree, I can understand that this is due to the limits of the Joy-Con's motion sensing capabilities, which don't quite match the Wii Mode, or especially Wii Motion Plus. This is one that bugged me more during my initial attempts of the game in 2023 rather than my 10 workouts for this review. I don't like that it's always the same routine for warm-up every time, and I really don't like that it's also an identical routine for cooling down. Honestly, after doing it so many times in a row, the familiarity started to get less irritating, so maybe this isn't that big of a problem. What do you all think? Do you prefer to do a similar set of stretches every time, or would you rather variety? Let me know with a comment. One more note about the stretching. There's a few moments where it mixes up left and right when you switch sides, especially the warm-up and cooldown, and tells you to step forward and step back when it should be lean forward and lean back.
Step back. Step forward. Repeat.
Since you hear each twice per session, it gets a little grating, as does the trainer telling you that you're warming up your feet and hands at the end, even when you're supposed to be cooling down.
Let's warm up your wrist and ankles.
Finally, this game, like almost all workout games I've tried, really badgers you to play daily. I mix up strength training days and cardio days, so that's not going to happen. And it seems strange that every exercise game assumes that this is going to be your lifestyle, and only exercise of choice for some time. I don't want to be encouraged to work out more when I work out plenty, thank you. Before we get to the review, I did want to mention that I have wishlisted the DLC should it ever go on sale. The game itself at full price is $64.99 Canada bucks, which seems pretty normal for this kind of exercise game. The DLC though is $32.99, just a hair over half the price of the entire game. I mean, it does look like this DLC is made exclusively for me in particular, with a mode seemingly devoted to punching Heart's big ol' tum-tum.
Do you honestly think you can defeat me? Here you can test how many hits you can make one after another.
Hokuto 100 blows rushing fist.
What?
If it does go on sale, I'll do an additional review because, yeah, this is extremely my kind of hot nonsense, and I love Heart. So let's do a final review of the game. Graphics and presentation. 3 out of 5 on the GamePro Garfield scale. It's not a bad looking game and runs fine in the original Switch OLED that I'm using. There are occasional frames from the manga during battle mode, but you can tell not a lot of money was thrown at this project from the start, and we should assume they did the best they could in terms of presentation. But the production values in battle mode is so limited, and I wish they developed it a bit more. Variety. 4 out of 5 on the Garf scale. There's a ton of workouts here, and while you will get some repeats mixed in, that's not a bad thing as it helps familiarize yourself again with the movements and also show that you're progressing with them. You could do this workout for months, which is great and a good value. Exercise quality. 5 out of 5 on the Garf scale. This is really an intense workout that will leave you maybe a little sore afterwards, and you'll very likely see results if you keep at it. There are punch combos on medium that go on for so long that it's truly a matter of will, for me at least, to work my way through them. Each new move does have a practice mode that breaks down the move logically too. You might think that fitness boxing would lead to a more upper body oriented workout, but it gives you a good mix of dodges and ducking that basically come down to leans and twists that work your glutes, quads, obliques, and core too. Exercise accuracy. 3 out of 5 on the Garf scale. As the routines get more complicated with more moves that involve whole body leaning, twisting, and squatting, the measurements tracking your success got harder to hit and more vague. Since it's not doing full body track like the Kinect and you don't have one of the 2 Joy-Cons on your lower body, it's using the accelerometer to gauge your movements left, right, up, and down, and the accelerometers on the Joy-Cons just aren't that great. Jabs, straights, and uppercuts read fine, though you'll notice even if you mix up which style of punch you were throwing, they'll generally register as a hit, since it's not sophisticated enough to tell the movements apart. Overall, it's fine, considering the limits of switch motion sensing, and again you do have the option to auto-succeed with moves it has a hard time reading, or omitting them entirely. Exercise appeal. 2 out of 5 on the Garf scale. I admit I dreaded these workouts. My brain was actively rebelling against the idea of doing them, and I was watching the clock during the more grueling routines the whole time. The battle mode was somewhat more fun, but didn't include a warm-up or cool-down to them, and you had to pick each routine individually. I don't have the best work ethic when it comes to tough workouts, and these don't have enough fun elements to them to avoid making the game feel like a chore. Overall, 17 out of 25. I admit I'm a bit of a tough critic when it comes to workout games, but there are some that I'd like to get to that I feel work better for me. It's a hard one for me to realistically say that I would stick with. Heck, just getting 10 workouts done in 2 weeks was kind of a monumental task for me, and I'm pretty proud of doing it. Grilling for a tough workout that demands a lot from you, but is well thought out and can deliver actual results, this is a good pick, but just don't expect it to be, all that fun. Hey, thanks for watching through this entire review. I'm going to subject myself to more of these because I've got a ton of weird Exergaming and other bizarre peripheral games to review. Let me know if there's something you would want to see. I'm debating between a Dance Central review or Ring Fit next. Dancing is more my thing, but Ring Fit does have that beefy wrestler dragon in a singlet. Or we could go to the start of modern exercise gaming and look at Wii Fit.
That's okay.
Thanks, Wii Fit. Feel free to check out my channel for more Switch game reviews, even a Vita review. Check out my Kubert Opens World series where I do increasingly long and deep dives into open world drivey shooty crime games and rank them. I like to do racing game reviews too, and there's plenty on queer gaming history, beefy boys in games, and now I've started ranking the gayest games of all time with my friends too. If you want a podcast where you play through a classic RPG a chunk at a time, go ahead and subscribe to the Square Roots podcast. It's like a book club, but instead of books, they're RPGs. Mostly. I did make Matt, Vanessa, and Jim play through stuff like Bayonetta and Yakuza Kiwami too. Soundtrack this episode is from the fantastic Revenge of Shinobi OST by Yuzo Koshiro. Thanks, and I love you. Platonically.
Oh.